All right, so that's kind of the state of streaming services today. Let's start with, and Jason, we'll go with you first. What services we use, and as you talk about them, talk about how you get them. Do you pay for them? Do you get them as part of a promo? Talk about that part of it too.
I should start with saying I'm one of those OG cord cutters, right? Back when what was it, 2009 or something, when that term first started getting thrown around was this cord cutting, right? I hadn't paid for cable like and forever, right? So I've been on Netflix, and that's my number one here. I've been on Netflix since Netflix started with the streaming services. Now, I believe we switched accounts at some point. Um, I don't remember why, but I'm an OG Netflixer, OG cord cutter. So always just pay for internet, never cable, never phone service, never security, home alarm, none of that. Always just internet, and I'll get into some of the pitfalls in that, in the post show when we talk about it. But so Netflix, of course, is my number one.
And do you
I
pay for
don't
that one
watch it.
then?
Yes, we pay for that one. That one
Okay.
auto renews right out of the account, just like the light bill. So there's there's the necessities, the light bill, the water bill, and Netflix. That's one of the ones that does it. That one and my second one, which is Amazon Prime. Now, Amazon Prime has really been annoying me with the what is it? Not Tubi. What is it? Freebie or whatever it is. I don't like how everything's jumbled together now. So you're watching something and you think that it's included in Prime, and all of a sudden they hit you with 2 minutes worth of ads. And I'm like, wait, I thought this was part of Prime. So that's really been annoying me. And I know they do it on purpose, but hey, that comes with it. So Prime is one, mostly for the benefits of Prime, right? The
Right.
shipping and stuff like that. Um,
Well, I'll
it's
tell you
crazy
what,
being
not to interrupt,
oh
sorry to
sorry.
interrupt you, but Freebie,
No,
there's a lot of good stuff if you're willing to deal with the
right. Watch
commercials. But
those
I
ads.
agree with you. It'd be nice if it wasn't, if you knew what you were getting right up front. And I'll talk about
Right.
when we go to one of mine, I'll talk about how they handle some of the ads and stuff, which I thought was genius. So,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if there was a way I could filter that and not watch it, because you're right. I'm a big horror movie fan, and man, they have tons of really good old school horror movies, but I just can't deal with the ads sometimes. It's just annoying. So yeah, if I can filter those and watch them when I want, I would love that more. So, but mainly because of the shipping perks and stuff like that, we Prime is another one that auto bills every month. We make sure we have it. It's great.
if it wasn't Amazon Prime shipping, would you still pay for Amazon Prime Video?
No, not on a monthly basis like I do,
Okay.
right? I would do whatever promotions come up, Prime Day deal. Hey, you can get Prime for 3 months for whatever. I would jump on it then if they didn't have the shipping. The
Okay.
shipping is my main focus. With me being in Houston, I'm literally like surrounded by two really big Amazon warehouses. Some stuff I order, it'll say 2 day shipping, and it'll be here the same day. It's crazy. I'm really spoiled living in Houston. So I know maybe some of our listeners don't have that same thing because I think Prime is 3 days in some locations, right? It's not
Yeah.
just the 2 day shipping; it's
Most of
it's up to
mine's
three
next
days.
day or 2 day.
Okay, all
So,
right,
and there's a warehouse in Salt Lake, I'm sure. So,
okay, yeah, they'll drive it. For some reason, you're anti-driving 45 minutes now. I don't know what the deal with you. What the deal is with Greg Cunningham now, but yeah, they'll drive it to you, Greg. Don't worry, you don't have to drive 30 minutes in the truck anymore.
sweet.
So my next one is Paramount Plus. Now, this is one I mentioned earlier. I pay for it when I want, right? I wait for a season to finish, whether it be South Park, my Star Treks that I watch, uh, some mystery show, or one of those crime dramas that my wife and I love to watch. We'll wait for the season to finish. I'll pay for it for a month or two, and then we'll go through it. So not the whole year, but Paramount Plus is one that I use. So Hulu and Disney, never the ESPN. I just I watch football. I watch baseball when I can, but never have the need to pay for ESPN. So we'll do Hulu and we'll do Disney, and it's like a summertime thing, right? Kids are going to be home from school. They're going to be on winter break or something like that. Especially Disney Plus on winter break, right? Because that's when they have the really big specials and stuff like that. So that maybe, 2 times a year or something, we'll do Hulu and Disney Plus, but that's pretty much it. So, I have HBO or Max or HBO Go or whatever they call it, but we talked about how the carriers are trying to, the ISPs are trying to maintain their control over it. So, this was weird. It's actually cheaper with this bundle with the HBO Max and my internet service and the unlimited. They make it cheaper to get that package than they do just paying for just the internet, right? So they figured out a way of whatever. So I'm hooked into HBO Max. It's good every now and then to find a documentary or something that I like to watch. They do have the new movies that come out. Sometimes they're still in the theater and they're on Max. So if there's something that I want to see, so I do tune in from time to time, but it's not as active in my household as some of the other stuff. So, but and that's pretty much it for me. Every now and then I'll get a trial. Like I said, when I bought the TV, I had the $90 streaming credit. I can pick from a number of different services. Somehow I picked Showtime. It didn't get watched. We'll do Apple TV. I still to this day hadn't found anything that I like to watch on Apple TV. I know you recommended a few things,
I'm going to
and
give you
there's
one
some
in the
things that
post show. So I'm going to
okay,
give you one in the post show you may want to check out.
okay. I've letting trials go to waste, of course, when we buy our new phones and things like that. And I'll get the trial, I'll turn it on, and I'll never watch it. This last trial, I turned it on, and I told my wife, "Hey, we got another 3 month trial or whatever." And she found something that she watched, didn't watch it at all. So I'll do trials of new things here and there, but pretty much Amazon, Netflix, HBO Max every now and then, Paramount from time to time, and Disney Plus on holidays and winter breaks. So how about you? I see we have some overlap.
Yeah.
I see you have some on your list, but are some actively more active, actually more active than others?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned about cable and stuff like that. So Karen and I have only had cable once in our life that we paid for.
Okay.
And I remember what apartment we were living in, and that was back in the day when you'd cancel it and then it would take them like 6 months to actually turn it
Right.
off too,
They would
right?
have to send somebody out to come and
Yeah.
switch the box or something, the little terminal in the backyard or in the back of the complex or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So we've never really had any of that stuff. So, but we have several services now. Um, Disney Plus, I get the bundle through Verizon for free. So I get Disney
Okay.
Plus, I get Hulu and ESPN Plus. I use ESPN Plus for video on occasion
Hmm.
because I'm in a smaller market, right? So, I mean, next year might be different when Utah moves to the Big 12. But
Right.
by the way, they're coming to play Houston. So just thought I'd point that out.
Yep.
Play might be an extreme word in that circumstance. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But
They're coming to stand in the stadium with them.
yeah, we'll see. Um, for basketball, it won't even be close. I don't think Houston will hang with Utah from a football standpoint,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Dustin already asked me if I was going to come down and watch, so that's on my list. So anyway, so I get that bundle, and I do get it free through Verizon. So, but we
Okay. So
watch,
all three, not
yeah,
just one. You get
it's
all
the
three,
bundle.
that one
Yep,
bundle.
yep.
Nice.
And Disney Plus is I put these in order, kind of in order, but Disney Plus is absolutely the one that gets watched the most. I mean, the kids watch everything on it: PJ Masks and Bluey and
Right.
Blues Clues, and just all kinds of stuff on there. Plus, they're watching all the Disney shows. And there's the thing, and I'm surprised that Disney's this low on your list because Disney owns all the universes except for
Right.
the DC
Right.
universe, right? Which then you have a Netflix has to take care of that, but all of the rest of the universes Disney owns.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that one's number one. Amazon Prime, that's part of my Prime subscription. We do it because of the shipping for sure. We absolutely get
Definitely.
enough benefit out of that to pay for it. I don't know. I asked you, right, if you would pay for this if it wasn't part of it. I think it would depend on the price for me because I actually use it more um than I thought I would. And I watch a lot of the freebie stuff, a lot of it. And I'll
Okay.
talk about a couple of those shows in the post show. But
Hmm.
so I think I probably would pay for this one if I had to.
Okay.
So Apple TV Plus is next on the list just because I've had it since it came out as part of the subscription, and it's really there. It and Apple News are the ones that I would probably say I use the least, but
Mhm.
Wyatt was a huge Ted Lasso fan, right? I mean, he's a soccer nut. So,
Yeah.
he watched Ted Lasso a ton and he's watched stuff on it, but I have started watching one show. Here's my problem. You know how conservative I am about media that I consume,
Hmm.
right? And I was hopeful that Apple would pull some of their, the way they manage content and stuff in the App Store and the types of apps and stuff you can
Yeah.
have. I was hoping that there would be more of that in the Apple TV Plus service. And no, they just went all out. I
Yeah.
mean, the first shows they released were C with Jason Momoa, which is one of the
Hmm.
most violent shows from what people have told me. I have not watched it because of the reputation that it had. And then the morning show, which was language like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just stuff that I don't do. Fine for everybody else, but I just don't do that kind of stuff. And so I've just had a hard time finding shows on there that I wanted to watch because I'd be watching this show and all of a sudden there'd be something in it. And I'm like, why? It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
there. And because there were
Right.
a whole bunch of intriguing shows, but there is one that so far has been pretty good, and I'm hoping they don't spoil it. I'll talk about it in the post show because I think you might like it too. So that
Okay.
one's there. Um, The Chosen is, I know this is a TV series or a series, right? This is about
Hmm.
the life of Jesus Christ, and it's Angel Studios was the one that did it. They're also the one that did Sound of Freedom. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie Sound of Freedom, you need to see that movie to understand what's going on in the world today with child trafficking and stuff like that. That was an
Yeah.
amazing show. I don't want to see it again because it
Yeah.
was that kind of a movie. But anyway, so they've got their own app, and it was horrible when I first downloaded it, and now it's gotten much better. You couldn't even like skip through stuff. It was nuts. But anyway, so I had that one.
Hmm.
The church I'm in, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they have a whole bunch of streaming stuff. They have the Tabernacle Choir and a bunch of that kind of stuff. They have a bunch of streaming
Hmm.
stuff in there. So those are kind of niche ones.
Is it a subscription, or is it
Nope.
is it just you have your login and you log in, you can watch it?
You actually don't even need the login. They've got an app called I can't remember. They just changed it. It's called Stream or something like that. It's on the TV, it's on the devices, all that kind of stuff, and it's just all of their
Okay.
content. It pulls all their YouTube stuff. They've got their YouTube channels and stuff like that too. So it's not really a
Okay.
subscription. It's just a streaming thing. So
Okay.
um now Paramount Plus and Peacock, Wyatt pays for both of these. Um and he pays for them mostly because they have soccer.
Yeah.
European soccer. As Wyatt puts it, soccer is better everywhere else except for the US. So
Right.
so he pays for those two. And the Paramount one, we actually went down to the very, very lowest, which has commercials, which we were watching, Karen and I were watching some movies, and what Paramount Plus does for movies is they give you like 3 or 4 minutes of commercials at the beginning of the movie
Okay.
and then nothing. It's just the movie after
Okay.
that. And they
So you can
pop up
watch
a
it straight
banner.
through.
They pop up a banner that says first a few ads, and then you can enjoy an uninterrupted movie. And when I
Okay.
saw that, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I can deal
yeah,
with that. I can deal with that
yep,
upfront.
yep.
How long is it though? Is it more than 2 minutes or?
It might have been 3 or 4, but I mean,
Okay.
fine. Because then you're
Yeah.
watching a 2+ hour movie with nothing. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. Watching it straight
I
through.
thought that was great. So, but those don't stay on all the time. Those two, the Chosen and the Church Streams are free. Those two
Hmm.
don't stay on all the time. We turn them on and off depending on if Wyatt remembers to tell me to cancel when soccer season's over because I don't follow it. So, and then Paramount, like you said, it's got all the Star Treks, and
Hmm.
I've struggled getting into this latest season of Strange New World. So I got to figure out if I'm going to get back into that or not. So,
Right. Right.
and then the last one is Sling. And this one I usually only turn on for college football. So it's like September through December, through whatever the bowl games are. And it depends on
Hmm.
who Utah's playing. I don't watch professional football, I watch college football. I'm a University of Utah fan. And it just depends on what stuff they're on. And one of the reasons I did Sling is because a lot of Utah's games were on the Pac 12 network. They won't be anymore. but they were on the
Right.
Pac-12 network and they had an add-on. But this one was kind of expensive. I mean, it was 40 or so dollars for the base, and then like $15 or $20 add-on for that Pac-12 channel. And but I like this one because I can turn it off on and off. So like if I could see that they were going to have 3 games in a row that were on Fox, I didn't
Hmm.
bother right to turn this on. I just figure out how to watch
Right.
it otherwise. But also if it was, they have 2 different packages, and one had ESPN and the other one had like Fox Sports. And so if I needed to switch in the middle of the month between the orange and the blue package, I could.
Hmm.
Right, I just go in and say change my subscription, switch it over, and yeah, they had to do their funky billing thing, credit you for the month, and then charge it,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. But it worked out the same. But I like that I could switch that around. But I actually didn't use that one this year. I didn't watch. I watched a couple of games on TV because they were on national broadcast, and mostly I listened to the games this
Yeah.
season. So, but this is the one that I turn on when I want to watch college football.
So you don't have to turn on and off the entire service. You're just adding that package to it, the college football package, or if you had to add like a soccer package, if you wanted to do that,
Anything you
NBA.
want to
I'm
do.
assuming there's a basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you can
Okay.
turn things on and off, and they have specialty things and all that kind of stuff, so you can kill everything, or you
Okay.
can, and that's what I normally would do. I didn't, like I said, I didn't do it this year, but yeah, I mean, normally what I would do is I would turn it on for the game if I knew I wanted to watch 2 or 3. I would turn it on and immediately go in and cancel it after that, and they would
Hmm.
say, okay, your subscription will end on this date. That way, I didn't forget to turn it
Right.
off again. So, but
Right.
they have managed that the best, I think. So it's still there. We'll see next year when Utah's in the Big 12.
Yeah.
What I end up doing with it. So
So before we move on, though, let's go back to Amazon because you said that's one that you would pay for. How much would you pay for that? Right, because if it was just a streaming services, right, we're not talking about all the extra, the music, the shipping, the all the other perks, the Prime Gaming. They give you a lot of perks. What they give you some credits for Audible and that stuff every
yeah,
month. If it was just a streaming service, right, just a video, how much would you pay for that? Because
I think
I think now that I think about it, I would do maybe $9 or $10 a month.
yeah.
Definitely not 14.
No, I think if they could keep it $10 or under, even if I
Right.
mean, like with the freebie stuff, it has ads, right? Fine. But
Yeah.
I think I would pay $10 a month for it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I would do it around that. But thinking about the pricing now with all of the other benefits, I definitely if it was less benefits other than the shipping, outside of the shipping, I don't think it'll be worth it for me.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
before we go to devices, I think you kind of answered this. I could probably guess what it is, but if you could only afford to pay for 2 of your services, which 2 would
Right.
you pay for?
So it would be Amazon. Amazon because of the shipping and stuff, right?
Put that aside. Assume it was just streaming. Assume it was just Amazon streaming service. So which
Okay,
2?
so if I had to pick just two streaming services, right? Nothing else. I'm gonna have to say Netflix and Disney Plus. Even though Disney Plus is not one that I pay for on a regular basis, and I'm kind of torn too with Paramount Plus. So I would have to say Netflix. Netflix definitely, but between Paramount Plus and Disney Plus, I would have to say Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Those were the two that I would stick with, considering that I don't have to pay for anything else.
Yeah.
I would pay for those two.
And see,
So how about you?
I would go with Disney
Definitely Disney
Plus.
Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And
I knew
then
that one was coming.
I actually think Amazon would be the second one
Okay.
on the list here, cuz putting the free ones aside, right? Putting all that stuff
Yeah.
aside, but that one
So
would
the
be good.
Disney Plus bundle or just Disney Plus? The bundle too
Um
with Hulu and ESPN? Or
no,
would
I could
you
do without. I mean, if it was like $10 cheaper a month to
right.
not have the bundle, I would do without. Hulu's good for TV shows, right?
Yes.
Lots of TV shows, but Amazon I watch a lot of movies
Yeah.
on, and then the freebie stuff, right? There's just so much in that back catalog of freebie, which is part of what's Apple TV Plus's problem, right? They just
Yeah,
don't
yeah, that's
have
definitely the
a
problem.
back catalog. So unless you're into the style and the kind of stuff that they're putting out right now,
Mhm.
that's why I struggle using Amazon or Apple TV Plus, right? Is because they just don't have a breadth of stuff. It's what they've been producing. Now they're producing some
Right.
amazing things, but anyway, yeah, for me it would be Disney Plus, and then probably Amazon would be number two.
Yeah. So no Netflix on that list. Wait, you don't
No,
have Netflix on your
I
list at
don't.
all?
Nope. We had Netflix, but several years ago, maybe even a decade ago, we canceled it.
Right, right. Okay. Any reason why? Just not interested in the majority of the content that they make?
I think it was just so much content. It was kind of like trying to find something to watch on cable. I mean, we used to
Right. You'll
love,
spend 30 minutes,
yeah,
45 minutes looking for something to
yeah.
watch, let alone watching something. Yeah.
I do miss being able to watch Arrow, The Flash,
Hmm.
Supergirl, and especially when the one thing DC did really, really well, not to get off on a tangent here, in my opinion, were the crossovers between those and
Right.
Legends of, what were they called? Legends.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those crossovers were fantastic, especially the set where
Right.
they had the evil Supergirl and the evil Arrow from the alternative universe, and they, you know, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean those crossovers were really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Um, so
So we didn't, I guess before we move on to the devices too, we didn't talk about the stuff that we don't use, right? Because that WB or the
yeah,
DC streaming service, from everything that I've heard, it's really good. Maybe a little overpriced, but still really good because you get everything that they get.
yeah,
Minus the HBO stuff, I believe. Like I don't think like you don't get the Doom Patrol and stuff like that, the Titans show, the
yeah,
stuff that HBO produced. So I think it's an Amazon and Netflix kind of thing. I mean a Disney and Netflix kind of deal. So they don't get those shows, but from what I hear, it's pretty good. So
yeah.
are there any other streaming services that you can think of that you don't use that you say, well, maybe I should look into that?
Yeah, I mean, people use YouTube for YouTube TV. That's a streaming service that's
Right,
out there. It's got the
right.
NFL Ticket now. I don't do that kind of stuff. The only other one I thought about several years ago was when All Things Stargate was going to stream through its own
Yeah.
service, and it basically would have given you access to the entire back catalog. But again, what I'm talking, that's where I think Hulu's where that SG1 and Atlantis and stuff like that exists now because
Hmm.
so I don't think so. I mean, part of the problem for me is I don't want entertainment to consume my life. Um,
Yeah.
I'm getting worse. I'm a voracious reader too, right?
Hmm.
And so I don't want to get caught into a YouTube. 2 hours later, I realize I've been watching YouTube crap for 2 hours, kind of thing. Same thing
Right,
with just thumbing through Netflix, for example, when I could be reading a really good book.
right,
So,
right.
so yeah,
So, and I forgot to mention that too. This is a streaming service. I look at it as, just entertainment, even though these are entertainment, but I look at these as like subscriptions. But yeah, I would say 90% of my day, especially in the shop, is spent on YouTube. It's spent watching YouTube. Now, I'm not just looking at cat videos and dudes throwing footballs through basketball hoops at, a mile, half a mile away. But I watch our show. I watch the podcast. I watch some true crime stuff. There's some guys that come up, um, and if I'm not watching that, and I'll get into too what I've been watching later, in the post show. But if I'm not watching that, I'm just streaming music videos.
yeah.
Right? I'll play my music playlist on there, and it goes through the playlist, and I have to skip ads and stuff from time to time. But yeah, YouTube is I would say would consume maybe 90% of my time during the day when
Yeah.
I'm here in the home. It's one of these other services. So,
Yeah, I mean, you've
but
also
yeah, I'm
got the
with you.
kind
You'll fall
of,
down that rabbit hole.
putting aside the podcast, you've also got the kind of work that lends itself to having something up and
Right,
distracting
right.
you. And see, for me, it's put in my headphones and music and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well,